Your heating bill is a lie, not a mistake, not an accident. A deliberate, engineered extraction of money from your pocket every single winter, designed by an industry worth $140 billion a year that needs you cold, scared, and dependent. And the solution has been sitting inside Japanese homes for 700 years. It costs $3. They stopped teaching it in the West, not because it failed. They stopped teaching it because it worked too well. My name doesn't matter. What matters is this. 3 winters ago, a retired HVAC technician from Osaka named Hiroshi T contacted me after watching one of my videos. He said, and I'm paraphrasing because this hit me like a truck, he said, "In Japan, we never understood why Americans burn $5,000 a year heating empty air." Empty air. Think about that. Right now, your heating system is blasting warmth into your hallway, your unused guest room, the space above your head where nobody lives, the gap between your ceiling and your roof. You're paying for cubic feet of air. You are paying a utility company to heat the void. The Japanese figured out something different 7 centuries ago. They decided to heat people, not rooms, not houses, people. And the device they built to do it, a deceptively simple, almost laughably cheap invention, has never once been marketed to you, has never appeared in a single Western home improvement show, has never been recommended by a single energy consultant on your utility company's website. And those utility companies know exactly why. We are going to get there. But first, I need to give you the full picture, because this is not a gimmick. This is not a hack. This is a 680-year-old engineering solution backed by thermodynamics, validated by the Japanese Ministry of Economy, Trade, and Industry, and replicated by millions of households across the most energy-conscious nation on the planet. Let's go back to 1336. Japan is in the Muromachi period. The samurai class is consolidating power. Winters in the central highlands of Honshu are brutal, temperatures dropping below -10 Celsius in regions with no access to the stone fireplaces that Europeans had been using since the Roman era. Japanese architecture, built for the savage humidity of summer with sliding shoji screens and open floor plans, offered almost no thermal insulation whatsoever. People were cold. People died. The solution they found was not to build thicker walls. The solution was to build a trap. They took the irori, a square sunken hearth built into the floor of every Japanese home, used for cooking and warmth, and they placed a low wooden platform over it. Then they draped clothing and later heavy quilts over the platform to trap the rising heat. The air beneath the platform became a sealed thermal pocket, a small area, a concentrated zone of warmth that defied the cold around it. They called it the Kotatsu. Ko, meaning fire, Tatsu, meaning standing structure, a fire that stands. By the Edo period between 1603 and 1868, the Kotatsu had evolved. The irori was replaced by a ceramic brazier filled with charcoal, a hibachi, that could be moved independently. The Kotatsu became portable. It traveled from room to room. It evolved from a floor fixture into a piece of furniture. And the fundamental principle, trap the heat, concentrate the warmth, do not waste a single calorie heating air that nobody is breathing, never changed, not once, in 700 years. The science behind why this works is not mysterious. It is basic thermodynamics, and once you understand it, you will never look at your central heating system the same way again. Hot air rises. This is the single most devastating fact for every forced air heating system ever built. When your furnace or heat pump forces warm air into a room, that air immediately rises toward the ceiling. Your thermostat sits on the wall. It reads the air at chest height and decides the room is warm enough. But your feet, the part of your body that touches the cold floor, the part of your body connected to your lower spine, your circulation, your immune response, your feet are still cold. The Kotatsu inverts this entirely. The heat source is positioned below the body. The blanket, the futon, acts as a sealed thermal envelope, trapping heat at body level. The warm air has nowhere to go. It circulates inside the enclosure. Your legs, your core, your hands, everything within the Kotatsu maintains a temperature between 28 and 38 degrees Celsius with almost no energy expenditure at all. How little energy? A standard Kotatsu heater draws between 70 and 600 watts. Typically, in a family setting, it runs at 150 watts. Your central heating system, forced air, heat pump, electric baseboard, draws between 1,500 and 5,000 watts. A study comparing heating methods published by the Real Estate Companies Association of Japan found that Kotatsu heating cost the equivalent of 4.6 yen per hour to run at full power. A wall-mounted air conditioning unit on heating mode ranged from 2.8 yen to 53.5 yen per hour. In American terms, the Kotatsu costs approximately 3 cents per hour to operate. Your forced air furnace costs between 12 and 60 cents per hour. Do the math. Run a Kotatsu 8 hours a day for a 4-month winter. Cost approximately $29. Run your central heating 8 hours a day for the same period at the average American rate. Cost between $400 and $1,500. The difference is not marginal. The difference is catastrophic. And the HVAC industry, the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning industry that generates $140 billion annually in the United States alone, has no financial interest in telling you this. There is no subscription model for a Kotatsu. There is no maintenance contract, no annual servicing fee, no proprietary filter you have to replace, no refrigerant recharge, no thermostat upgrade, no smart home integration that costs $300 a year. You buy the heater once. You never pay them again. That's why nobody teaches this anymore. If you've made it this far into this video, you already know more than 99% of homeowners in this country. Subscribe right now and share this with someone you know who is drowning in utility bills this winter. Hit the bell because the next video in this series is going to expose what your utility company is legally allowed to hide from you on your monthly statement, and it will make you furious. But stay here, because the most important part, the exact $3 setup that you can build tonight with things you already own, is coming in the next 4 minutes. Now, before we get to the exact instructions, you need to understand something about the post-war suppression of this technology in Western markets, because it didn't happen by accident. When American soldiers occupied Japan between 1945 and 1952, they documented everything: industrial methods, agricultural techniques, medical practices, and yes, domestic heating technology. Reports filed with the Civil Affairs section of the Supreme Commander for the Allied Powers noted with precision the Kotatsu as the primary heating method in 76% of Japanese urban households. The reports described its fuel efficiency, its safety record, its total cost per winter season. Those reports were filed, and nothing happened. Because 1946 was also the year that American natural gas infrastructure began its most aggressive post-war expansion. The American Gas Association was lobbying Congress. The oil companies were converting furnaces, the modern central heating industry was being born, and it was born with a marketing machine that told Americans heat meant warmth filling every room of your home, every hour of the day, whether you were in those rooms or not. Mottainai. The Japanese have a word for this kind of waste, mottainai. It means wasteful in a way that's almost painful to contemplate, and the waste of something that had value. The Japanese built their entire post-war energy philosophy around mottainai. They did not heat empty rooms. They did not heat the air above their heads. They heated themselves. And while American families in the 1950s began paying utility bills that climbed every single decade, while those bills became a permanent, inescapable feature of American financial life, Japanese families continued sliding their legs under their kotatsus and paying almost nothing. This is not a story of one culture being smarter than another. This is a story about who profits from your ignorance. Now here is how you build a functional kotatsu tonight for under $3 if you already have a table and a blanket, which most of you do. You need 4 things. First, a low coffee table. Any coffee table will work, ideally between 14 and 18 inches tall. If you don't have one, thrift stores regularly sell them for between $2 and $5. Second, a heavy blanket. A king-sized comforter, a thick quilt, a moving blanket, anything large and insulating. You almost certainly own one already. Cost, $0. Third, a Kotatsu heating element, or the $3 substitute. If you want the authentic Japanese heating element, they are available on Amazon for between $15 and $30, compatible with American 120-volt outlets. But the $3 version, a low-wattage infrared panel heater from any hardware clearance bin, rated at 100 to 200 watts with a mounting bracket. Total cost at Home Depot or Walmart clearance, $2 to $3 on markdown. You're not heating a room. You're heating a tent the size of your coffee table. 200 watts is more than enough. Fourth, 4 L-shaped metal brackets. Pack of 4 at any hardware store, approximately $2. If you're building this for free, tape works in a pinch for testing. Here's the build. Flip your coffee table upside down. Position the infrared heating panel in the center of the underside of the tabletop. Secure it using the 4 L brackets and screws. Flip the table back upright. The heater element now faces downward into the space beneath the table. Drape your heavy blanket completely over the table. All 4 sides should reach the floor, creating a sealed thermal envelope beneath the surface. The blanket should overlap itself at the corners if possible. You want 0 gaps at floor level. Place a second tabletop, or a piece of cardboard, or a cutting board, or a tray on top of the blanket. This holds the blanket in place and gives you a flat working surface. Plug in your heater. Sit down on the floor, tuck your legs under the blanket, and wait 3 minutes. 3 minutes. By minute 3, the thermal pocket beneath the table reaches a stable temperature of approximately 28 to 32 degrees Celsius. Your entire lower body is enveloped in warmth. Your core temperature rises. You feel genuinely and completely warm, warmer than most people feel at 72 degrees forced air, because the heat is actually touching your body instead of rising to your ceiling. You can now turn your central heating thermostat down to 60 or 62 degrees. Your body doesn't know the difference. Your utility bill absolutely does. A family in Sendai, Japan, fleet managers for a regional logistics company with 37 vehicles, ran this test deliberately for 2 consecutive winters. They documented their domestic heating costs with central heating alone versus central heating supplemented by Kotatsu in the primary living area. The reduction in monthly heating expenditure was 68%. They submitted their documentation to a local energy efficiency cooperative in 2019. The annual savings across both winters exceeded 400,000 yen, approximately $2,700 for a blanket over a coffee table, with a $3 heater. Think about every winter you have already paid full price for. Think about the furnace technician who charged you $200 for an annual inspection on a machine that your utility company profits from every time it runs. Think about the energy company's budget billing program that smooths your payments across 12 months so you never have a single month so painful that you stop and ask, why is this so expensive? They designed the billing to make you comfortable with the cost, just comfortable enough to stop asking questions. Here is a question worth asking. Why does the United States have the highest per capita residential heating energy consumption of any developed nation, while Japan, which experiences winters just as cold in regions like Hokkaido and Tohoku, spends approximately 40% less per household on winter heating? The answer is not climate. The answer is philosophy. The Japanese philosophy is Zukan Sokunetsu, literally, cool head, warm feet, a proverb that describes the ideal physiological state for human health and sleep. Not warm air, not heated rooms, warm bodies. Specifically, warm extremities, feet and legs, which regulate core temperature, circulation, and immune function. Research published in the journal Sleep and Biological Rhythms in 2011 confirmed that warming the feet and lower extremities accelerates sleep onset and deepens sleep quality by facilitating the natural drop in core temperature that signals the body to rest. Central heating works against this. It warms the air. The Kotatsu works with your biology. They did not stop teaching this in the West because it was primitive. They stopped teaching it because it was perfect. And perfection does not generate revenue. The heating industry in America generates its income through three mechanisms: equipment sales, maintenance contracts, and energy consumption. The Kotatsu threatens all three simultaneously. It requires no installation, it requires no maintenance, it consumes almost no energy. You can buy the components once at a hardware store for under $15 total, or $3 if you catch a clearance sale, and use them for 15 to 20 winters. There is no business model in that equation for anyone except you. That is precisely why you've never seen a Kotatsu recommended on an energy savings website funded by a utility company. That is precisely why no home improvement television program has ever dedicated a segment to it. That is precisely why the 700-year thermal engineering genius of the Japanese Muromachi period is still, in 2025, considered a quaint cultural curiosity rather than the most financially devastating weapon you can deploy against your heating bill. 700 years. From the warriors of the Muromachi period to the cramped apartments of post-war Tokyo to the family homes of Sendai and Kyoto and Nagasaki. This technology survived every war, every modernization, every economic upheaval Japan endured. It survived because it was true, not trendy, not marketed, true. And tonight, for the cost of a cup of coffee, you can bring it into your living room. Your great-grandchildren will still be using it. And not a single dollar of what you save will go to anyone who spent the last 70 years making sure you never heard of it. Subscribe and share this with every person you know who is paying too much to be warm this winter. There is someone on your contact list right now, a parent, a friend, a neighbor, who is choosing between groceries and heating this month. Send them this video. Hit the bell because the next video is going to expose exactly how your utility company calculates your bill and the 3 legal strategies buried in your state's energy code that they are required to tell you about but never do. 700 years of warmth, $3. And the satisfaction of knowing that the most sophisticated heating technology available to you tonight was invented by people who didn't have electricity. They just understood heat. Do you?